it's girly power. It's a coach. You're set for Madden football on EA Sports. Coming up, running back Todd Gurley, fresh off a standout performance a week ago, as it'll be the Washington Redskins taking on the Los Angeles Rams. With that, we're off to L.A. for the Rams' home opener in their third season back home. Standing by, Brandon Godden and Charles Davis.
From the second largest city in the U.S., Los Angeles, California, we've got football as EA Sports coverage of the NFL is on the air. A few short moments ago, running back Todd Gurley trying to fire up the Ram faithful here in Southern California as his guys get set to do battle with the Washington Redskins. Along with Charles Davis, I'm Brandon Gaudin. And Charles, you look at this Rams team as they interplay. They come in off a good win on the road, and now they hit the home opener at 1-0. Meanwhile, for the visiting Redskins, they come into this one after a loss in the opener, and they're in for another tough test here.
And what a battle for an organization to look at your schedule and see 2 road games to start the season and not have a letdown immediately. You got to fight against that. They've got to come out ready to play.
The first game's out of the way. Time to buckle down for the long season ahead, and we're off in week 2. This is taken about 7 yards deep. And no run back here. This will be a touchback, and it comes out to the 25-yard line. So out comes the Redskins offense now onto the field. They are led out by the 15th overall selection in 2019, former Ohio State Buckeye Dwayne Haskins.
Coming off of a loss their last time out, I think he's just seeking to make a bigger impact on the game. He threw a touchdown pass, didn't throw an interception. I think he just wants to jump those numbers up in terms of flinging it around and letting his receivers get into the end zone.
First carry for Darius Geis, and not the start he was hoping for there, as he'll maybe get back to the line of scrimmage, and that's it. Call it no gain on the game's first play, and it's second down now. Officially nothing on that last run. They'll try again, 2nd and 10. On second down, here's Haskins. Incomplete, but a penalty flag is down in the backfield. Let's get the call. So that one a hold, right guard.
And you understand why offensive and defensive linemen probably go to martial arts schools and work on their hands so often, because that could be the make or break difference on a play. This time he had to grab a jersey in order to make the play happen. He got caught for the penalty.
And he is swallowed up right at the line of scrimmage. No gain on the play this time, and it'll be a 3rd and long situation coming up. I think this is the script they had in mind for their opening drive. This is 3rd and long. Now Haskins, 3rd and long. Nowhere to escape, and he goes down. Nikel Roby-Coleman, a sack off the corner.
They just gave up a sack there, and if I'm not mistaken, they gave up 4 last week, didn't they?
Yes. And just looking really porous, aren't they?
They really are, and I'm wondering if they're going to have to start thinking about keeping the tight end in, maybe a back, someone to help assist, because right now, the quarterback's been getting hit a lot in the last couple of games.
Here's Tressway now, as his first punt will come from inside his own end zone. Now a fair catch signaled for and made right about the 43-yard line. So a change of possession here on the punt. And the Rams will go on offense here with a 1st and 10. So good starting field position for them here as they come up 1st and 10 at their own 43. Here's the first carry now for Todd Gurley. And taking it across midfield and inside the 45. It's a gain of 15, and the Rams have a first down. And a nice little broken tackle run there by Todd Gurley, the 10th pick in the 2015 draft.
And that's what you get with him, that full package of speed, power, able to catch the ball in the backfield. Many people doubted him coming out because of the knee injury in college. They're seeing the full Todd Gurley now, and it hurts.
And past the 35, he'll be dropped a yard or two shy of the 30. A gain there of 12 yards and a first down L.A.
In so many ways, throwing the hitch route is actually one of the safer things an offense can do. Get the ball out to the receiver as fast as possible, hope he's got man-to-man coverage, and hope that his athleticism wins on the perimeter.
Got the defense on their heels. 2 first downs in a row, and now a pickup of 8.
Well, that's what you're looking for when you're wanting to throw the ball downfield. You want one of those guys who can play out on the perimeter, can play out wide, who can not only get open, but when they're covered, can uncover themselves downfield and create catches.
And they'll get this down to the 10. A solid pickup of 13 sets him up 1st and goal. You think back to the Super Bowl against New England, the Rams never even got into the red zone in that game, and now here they are in the red zone on their opening drive with a first down. So on the heels of the run by Todd Gurley, another 1st and 10. Now it's gone. And it's caught for a Rams touchdown by Brandon Cooks. Brandon Cooks, his first touchdown here of the new campaign, as his guys are able to strike first here in this opening quarter. They scored the most points of anyone on opening weekend, and now first quarter touchdown here.
And while there's no guarantee that all the points they scored in opening weekend are going to hold up and be the average all year long, they're certainly starting to set that type of a pace. And what you do with that is you put in the heads of all of your opponents, we've got to really be ready on defense because these guys know how to put the ball in the end zone.
You think they can keep piling on the points like this?
I think they can if they're prepared to adjust and adapt, because they won't see the same defenses week in and week out.
Now Greg Zuerlein on for the extra point. It's up, it's good, and the Rams take a 7-0 lead. 5 plays there on that drive. And it winds up with a touchdown for Los Angeles. Out is the kickoff unit as they run up and send this one away. And they will not get a chance to return this one as it's through the end zone for a touchback. Out comes Washington's offense as they get set to take over here. And on the first drive, 3 and out. And I know that these are professional athletes, but I would imagine sometimes you get the nerves at the beginning of a game still, don't you?
Those don't ever go away. And typically what I've heard from guys and what I remember from playing, if you don't have nerves at the start of a game, it's not going to be a great day for you. You're not really ready to play. So finding a way to harness those nerves and not let them affect you in a negative way, that's what all the guys are looking for.
Throwing on 2nd and 14. Haskins. And he whips that one incomplete there. Jordan Reed was the intended target. And now it's 3rd down. Before the game, they were running the route tree about as efficiently and effectively as we could have possibly imagined. But sometimes the passes just go awry.
Yeah, let's face it. When you're running the route tree in pregame, you don't have defenders breathing down your neck. You don't have defensive backs making plays on the football. Hard to replicate the intensity of the game in pregame. Well, the good thing about covering any game I do with you is I know that there's no problem with rhythm. Now, what we're watching offensively, a little bit of a problem there.
Yeah, punt on the first drive, looking at another one here. Just a little slow. You know, they were talking about a fast start, but that hasn't been the case.
Yeah, and let's face it. Any team we cover always talks about a fast start.
That's true.
But it's not necessarily going to happen just because they say so. And whether it's the script, whether it's, you know, just what they're going through, whether they're seeing different defenses, they're going to have to figure it out as this game moves on.
On 1st and 10, Goff airing it out deep for Woods. And that is incomplete. Took a shot there on 1st down, but he couldn't reel it in. And quickly now, here's a look at the Rams offense.
Yeah, I feel a little bad here because we missed out talking about these guys on the opening drive because they were in the end zone before we had a chance to even say anything. But let's keep an eye on these wideouts. QB already has 1 touchdown pass. You know he's looking for a few more before this one's over. Those wideouts will get plenty of opportunities to try and score again.
And he'll be brought down, losing yardage back at the 40. The tally there, -2 yards, brings up 3rd down. And it looks like we've got a dime set here defensively. 6 DBs in the game. Out of the gun, Goff. He's going to air one out. And that is incomplete. Oh, he had a defender right there with him to force that to the ground. And 4th down now coming up.
Well, that certainly looked like something that they discussed all week in practice getting ready for this one. Take the big shot right out of the gate. At worst, you'll open up the defense a little bit, loosen them up, have them back on their heels.
And this is away. It's a high kick, and he got all of it.
Let's go, baby.
A look at Washington as they come onto the field. They've had it twice. They've punted twice. Not the start they were hoping for.
Not at all, and let's face it, every facility we visit, everyone talks about converting on 3rd down, how big that is. In this situation, they've had to punt it away twice, so they're furiously going over things on the sidelines. What do we need to do to pick up a 1st down and change our momentum?
He'll get about 3 as he's taken down at the 23. Now 2nd and 7 from the 23. Out of the gun, Geis. Trying to find a lane, but instead he'll get back to the line of scrimmage, and no more. No gain on the play there, so they're left with a 3rd down and 6. 3rd down, here's Haskins. And that is incomplete.
You hear the calls for a penalty, but I just don't think so. I think in this situation, the defender was making sure his guy couldn't hold on to the football. So I don't see anything that warranted a flag.
No, I'm with you. There was contact, but I'm happy they kept that flag in the back pocket. This is fielded at the 27. Nice job bringing that one back. 14 on the return. And out will come the offense as they take over. Here's the Los Angeles offense as they get set to take possession. They've got a 7-0 lead in the football as well as they start out 1st and 10. They'll start out on the ground with Gurley. And he'll be brought down, losing yardage back at the 40. That's going to go as a loss of a yard, and it'll be 2nd down. That was shades of Tennessee volunteer football back in the 80s with Charles Davis coming up from the secondary to make the tackle for a loss.
You mean my teammates doing that, right? Because they would tell you, my coach would say, where's that tape? I want to see that. But how about the complete package there? Not just playing the pass, but being a willing tackler and making a really nice play.
So a decent gain, but all for naught on the penalty.
It's too bad, isn't it? They were feeling pretty good about it. The only people celebrating, the guys who just gave up that play.
They'll come up now on a 2nd and long after the hold. Following the penalty, it's Gurley. They get 2 yards back, but they're going to need a lot more than that here on 3rd down. And here is the Redskin defense.
Landon Collins is built like your typical tackle-first safety, but he does have the ability to play the deep part of the field.
The Redskins on 3rd down, putting an extra man here in the secondary. A shotgun snap for Goff. Man open, it's Cup. He's got it. And he'll have it past midfield almost to the 40 before being taken down. Call that a very strong gain of 24. In Washington territory now. Here's 1st and 10 at the 41. Goff going to hand it to Gurley. The numbers on the ground for Gurley last week. 20 carries, 71 yards, and a touchdown.
That's a good start to the season. They got the win, and they were able to establish a good running game. Nothing that just blew people away, but but a nice solid base to get things started, and they expect that to get tuned up and get better as the season moves on.
Goff throwing complete to Kupp, and they're going to have another first down here as the tackle's made at the Redskins' 25-yard line.
Now, that was pretty. They executed that curl route versus zone coverage, and that changes things a little bit because against man, it's often a tight curl, tight, sharply run route. Against zone, you're just looking for that open spot, that dead area, so you may curl it a little bit wider just to get to that place.
And usually a tight window. He fired a bullet in there for the completion.
They tried a quick hitter inside, but that one was swallowed up because what they're hoping, those big defensive linemen will take the bait and move laterally and open up a crease that they can run through. Didn't happen on that play.
Throwing on 2nd and 8. Goff. And now he's going to use his legs. He'll end up getting 5 out of that, but now they're looking at 3rd down.
Now, how about that play? He took a possible negative and turned it into positive yardage and slid down to avoid taking a big shot. Excellent job getting down and avoiding the big hit.
Now a 3rd down throw, but it misses the target. Incomplete.
You absolutely have to have this early on, right? 3rd and short, they elect to throw for it, and that's normal NFL football. They're going to throw on 3rd and short, but you've got to hit it, don't you?
Yeah, in the first quarter, like you said, to set the tone, can't connect there. And Zerline's kick is good. And the lead moves to 10-zip. So the drive stalls out inside the 15-yard line, but they do get 3.
And I've talked with enough players nowadays, and when they have these types of kicks, that no one says to their guy, hey, that's just like making an extra point, piece of cake. Because the extra point is not a piece of cake anymore. But kicking a field goal from that distance, just give him confidence and let him knock it through.
Out comes the Redskin offense now as they get set to begin another possession. So far, they've had 3 drives, 3 punts. Not good.
Not good indeed, because you've got to have something to show for being out on the field. Now, sometimes, if you have a game where neither side has scored, 3 punts isn't a bad thing. But when you're trying to set the pace, get up on top in a game, you've got to show better offense and find a way to put some points on the board.
And that one covered beautifully. Their defenders stayed home, and they'll stop him behind the line. First play of the drive goes the wrong way. Here's 2nd and 12. $10-0 the score after 1 on EA Sports.
Tight end to the right, boy. Tight end to the right. Move. We got 4.
On 2nd down, it's Thompson. It's a gain of maybe 3, but it's going to leave them with still about 8 or 9 to go on 3rd down. The Redskins on 3rd down, 0 for 3 to this point. They could use a conversion. This is 3rd and 9. From the gun, Haskins on 3rd down. And he can't get rid of it. He's taken down.
My, oh my, they've had some success bringing him off the edge. How about the gambling man who's the defensive coordinator? He's not just bringing pressure, he's bringing a corner to go after the quarterback.
And it's worked twice now, twice like a charm.
And not only has that worked like a charm, he's been awfully disruptive in his usual role covering receivers. Now he's rushing the passer as well.
They'll call that a punt of 59 yards. Tough to do better than that. And possession will switch hands, 1st and 10. Goff will lead the Rams up here 1st and 10 at their own 26. They'll try and start the drive with Gurley. The tackle by Matthew Ioannidis.
I call that play a success. A nice inside run sets up a very manageable 2nd down. A very solid gain on that play.
From the 30 on 2nd down, Goff flushed out right. He's going to take off with it. All that gets him is just a yard, and now it's 3rd down. The Rams on 3rd down, just 1 for 3 thus far. This will be 3rd and 5. Here's Goff. And able to find Higbee. It's complete. And they're going to have this across midfield and inside the 45. It's a gain of 26 as they pick up the 1st down in the process. That tight end position, it just seems to continue to evolve every year in the NFL.
Yeah, you're getting really terrific athletes. A lot of them maybe were wide receivers at one point. They continue to give you speed, great hands, and big bodies, which make them excellent targets for quarterbacks. Everyone's got to be able to catch the football. Doesn't matter what position you play, but if you're on offense, be aware a ball may come your way.
They only got a yard out of that last completion, and that makes this 2nd and 9. Now Goff gets this into the hands of Brandon Cooks, and they're going to have another first down here as the tackle's made at the Redskins' 26.
One thing you're hoping for when you run drag routes, you're able to hit a receiver in stride, and he can pick up a lot of yardage after the catch. But in this situation, the defense was effective, able to stop him before he could get a good head of steam going.
And he's going to get a solid gain of 9 before being brought down. 2nd and right at a yard.
That's a strong pickup right there on first down. And as this drive goes on, we're seeing an offensive line and running game imposing its will.
They go play action with Gurley. Now gone. They'll find Everett there, complete. And on this one, he'll get to the 15, right at the 15-yard line.
When the offense reads blitz, doesn't matter where it's coming from, tight ends know that they become a big part of the passing game because they should be an easy outlet when all those extra bodies are trying to get to the quarterback. A hot route, so to speak.
Just a yard on the pickup there, and it'll bring up a 2nd and 9.
But that call makes sense because they've been throwing it well on this drive, and once again they show passing formation, showing the shotgun. Then they ran out of it. That's a nice play by them defensively there to hold it to a short game.
And he'll get about 3 just outside the 10, stopped at the 11.
Partner, we know today's NFL is really built around the guy throwing the football. But these short runs, they still pay dividends because they can take their toll on a defense, and they can add up as the game goes along. You control the clock, you control the ball, and that way you often control the game.
Now throwing on 3rd down there, but he cannot connect.
I think that was a good job there defensively. They did allow him to drive all the way downfield, but once they got their backs to the goal line, they really turned up the pressure.
Yeah, they let him get all the way down here. Now the field shrinks. They've struggled to convert, and that last incompletion brings up 4th. So the field goal there caps what winds up to be an 11-play drive.
Well, partner, that's a lot of offense to run there to only get 3 points. So I just wonder, are they going to recycle those plays because they were successful in getting 3? Or do you go to another section of the playbook trying to find ones that get you into the end zone, get you 6?
As this unit comes back out there, let's focus in on Darius Geis. They've given him some touches. They haven't had a lot of success on the ground. Do you maybe keep going to that well, or do you mix it up more?
I think you mix it up more, try and loosen things up. Get the defense to react to other people, other plays, but don't forget about it. That's your horse. You know, Secretariat lost twice in his career.
So educational. That's very true, kids. Look it up. Now Haskins on first down. Nowhere to escape, and he goes down. Samson Abukum showing his strength and quickness there, a loss of 4.
Brandon, if I'm an offensive coordinator and I see an all-out rush like that, I file it away because I'm going to use their aggressiveness against them as this game goes on. I'm going to hit them with a screen soon.
After the sack on first down, Haskins. And that is incomplete. A lot of force bearing down on him there. He could not hang on. It's 3rd down. Those passes out that far wide always make you hold your breath a little bit. Felt like it was in the air for a while.
What it does is allows a defender to gain some ground, come from a long distance, and have a chance to affect the pass.
Throwing on 3rd and long. Haskins. Nowhere to escape, and he goes down. Marching in for the sack, Michael Brockers. That's number 4. Sack number 4. They had 4 last week, so he's been down on the ground a lot.
Partner, they say the eye in the sky does not lie. And that's indeed the case because they watched the game tape from the previous week, incorporated it into their own defensive scheme, and continued to get after this quarterback.
And now this defense will be searching for sack number 5. Now a late flag comes in as they got him down via the face mask, and that'll give him even better starting position. So that flag will cost him 15.
And it doesn't matter anymore how you get the face mask. Any part of it is going to be 15 yards.
Excellent field position after the face mask penalty. 1st and 10 out near midfield. To throw is gone. And that's complete to Cooks. And they'll get him down after a pickup of 8, 2nd and 2. They'll give him 8 on the play, and it'll make it 2nd down. Facing a 2nd and 2 after that last catch, good for 8 yards. Now Goff will hand this one to Gurley. And he's going to get this one down near the 45-yard line. Pretty good job defensively. Thought he was going to get it, but they knew where that marker was, and they stopped him just short of it.
What it does is emphasize that strategic football and situational football is not just played on the offensive side, is it? Defense understanding, as you noted, where the first down marker was and making sure they didn't get there.
Officially a gain of just a yard there, but they do convert on 3rd and inches.
Set the tone, defense. Set the tone, defense. Let's go.
On 1st down, it's Gurley. Trying to run inside, but nothing there. Bringing him down there, Jonathan Allen. This defense could use a few more plays like that right now.
It certainly could, but think about it from an offense's perspective right now. They've got a lead, but they don't want to throttle down too much and stall themselves. Still want to move at a nice pace.
And now look at this. Big gain, but a fumble. And the Redskins scoop it. And the return stops at the 39-yard line. A reminder coming up at halftime, we'll head to Orlando. Standing by there, Jonathan Coachman. He'll have stats and scores from around the NFL in his 2nd week of the regular season. First play of the drive is a run with Thompson. There to make the tackle, Samson Abukum.
They tried a quick hitter inside, but that one was swallowed up because what they're hoping, those big defensive linemen will take the bait and move laterally and open up a crease that they can run through. Didn't happen on that play.
On 2nd and 7, Haskins. This one complete to Jordan Reed. And they're well past midfield, just a yard or 2 shy of the 40. Give him 16 yards there, and it's a Redskin 1st down.
Thus far, it hasn't been a real fun half for them, but a play like that may get them off the schneid a little bit, get them loosened up and moving.
Kind of seems like they've been sleepwalking and still sitting on 0 points.
And it's not always making an adjustment. Sometimes it's just going back to what you know can work and finally getting it done.
They only got a yard out of that last completion, and that makes this 2nd and 9. Haskins will throw. Open man here, Sims, complete. And this winds up a pickup of 2, maybe 2.5 to about the 39. If they want a first, they need to get the football to the 32 here on 3rd down. Haskins going to throw again. Complete. Richardson has it. And they'll get him down at the 34, and he's going to be short of the first by a few yards. The Rams going to go ahead and use the first of their timeouts as they'll stop the clock with 24 seconds to go in this first half. And this will split the uprights. It's right down the middle. And they will indeed get on the board here, but still trailing. It's now 13-3. So the 3 points here, they're still down, but they put somewhat of a dent into that lead going into the break.
Anything helps when you're trying to chip away at a lead, but they do know that they're going to need a little bit better effort in the second half.
Let's go, baby. Let's go.
And our attention shifts to Todd Gurley. The passing game, they've had more success there than the running game. Maybe something they game plan for.
How come they didn't tell us about it?
Because they wanted to keep it a secret.
We did ask, didn't we? But I think what happened in this one is they've realized that they've established the run pretty well, and teams are going to key on that. They thought they could open it up and have success through the air, and that's exactly what's going on.
Yeah, they've had success at least so far here in the second quarter. So we reach halftime here in a 10-point game as we send you cross-country to Orlando. Jonathan Coachman is there and has our EA Sports halftime report.
Okay, Brandon, we'll get you back to you and Charles in a bit, but first it's time for a trip around the NFL following an eventful opening weekend. Let's see what's happening in Week 2. We'll get started up at Paul Brown Stadium in Cincinnati. And that one closing in on halftime with the Cowboys out on top. 2 touchdown passes there for Dak Prescott. From there, it's up to New Era Field in Orchard Park to check on the Bills. And they were losers in their ball game as they were outplayed by the visiting New York Jets. Sam Darnold, 3 touchdown passes as his guys bounced back from the defeat on opening weekend. Lastly, let's get you to MetLife Stadium, see what's happening with the Giants at home in East Rutherford. And they were losers in that game as they fall to the visiting Detroit Lions. Kerryon Johnson, a touchdown run in the victory. Meanwhile, in our game, it's been a back-and-forth first half. Who can put it together in the second half? For the answer, we turn it back over to our broadcast team of Brandon Godden and Charles Davis.
All right, Coach, thank you, and we welcome everyone back for quarter number 3. The Rams going to get the football first here, and they look to build on their lead as the second half gets started. And this will not be returnable. It's out of the back of the end zone for a touchback. So here are the Rams to take over. Last week, they got the victory against the San Francisco 49ers. They've got the lead in this one as well right now.
The goal of a wide receiver screen is get enough blockers in front to create a wall and let him pick his spot to run the football. How about the defense there, swarming to it and not allowing that to happen? Did not let him get downfield.
Now on second down, this is Gurley. And forget about finding a lane. He barely had time to look up before he was planted in the backfield. It'll be a loss of a full 3 yards there, and it also brings up third down. Throwing on third. Gone. And that is incomplete. So good coverage there defensively as it looks like they'll force a punt on this opening drive of the third.
Well, let's coach them up a little bit from right here in the booth. That's exactly what they needed to do. They need to start stringing together some stops, turning the ball over back to their offense, and trying to get back into this game.
Yeah, a couple scores down, but they can eat into that quickly with a nice drive here on the other side. 12 yards on the return that time. And it'll be Redskins football now with a 1st and 10. Here comes the field general leading his offense back out there for the next possession. And he has not really been able to have a lot of comfort back there in the pocket. Pressure's been coming at him a lot, hasn't it?
And they've got to figure out how to tamp down that pressure. How do they decrease it? Is it getting rid of the football quicker? You know, shorter drops? Maybe they do something different with their pass blocking and their protection schemes. Maybe you meet them on the line of scrimmage instead of retreating to try and protect your quarterback. They've got to figure something out, though, because you cannot let your guy get hit that much, not if you intend to win.
Yeah, I know they'd like to erase that video and those 4 sacks that they've seen so far. You know, despite the scoreline, I think they've got to like where they are here. They're on the road and just one big play away from getting right back in this game.
I'm going to follow right along with you because the spot they're in now is a credit to their defense. They've kept them in it by making the plays that they've made, and that just means you're one big score away from being right back there.
Now the question is, can this offense step up and make that play? Because that's been an issue for them in this game. These guys have punted 4 times already, and they're staring at a 5th, barring a conversion here on third down. 3rd and 2, now Haskins. And he finds McLaurin. And he's able to get this one down to the 40-yard line. His first catch, and it's a pretty big one. They get the conversion on third down.
One of the feature points of the in route is being able to make a nice throw to the middle part of the field. And for a quarterback, that's one of the better throws and better looks that he'll get. But he has to be careful not to wait too long and let his receiver wander into some tough territory. If he's late with the ball, he can get his receiver hit and hit hard.
This will be stopped about 2 yards shy of the marker. 8-yard gain, 2nd and 2. Facing a 2nd and 2 after that last catch, good for 8 yards. Now a run with Geis. And he'll be a little shy of the 25 here at the 26-yard line.
2nd and 2 is prime time for a little bit of a gamble, isn't it? Open up the playbook, go play action, toss that bad boy deep. But in this situation, go ahead and give it to your back. Let him pick up a first down. Keep the sticks moving.
And this one complete to Reed. And he takes it in. Touchdown, Washington. Jordan Reed, his 2nd touchdown on the season, as they are now just an extra point away from making this a 3-point game. Good start to the season for him. He had the touchdown last week in the opener and a 2nd one in week 2 now.
How about the pace he's already established, right? Not sure he can keep it up for an entire season, but don't burst the bubble because he thinks that he can.
Do guys go into a season with a goal for touchdown scored or yardage? What do you think?
I think every single one of the guys who's going to touch the football, they all have those types of goals. They all have those types of thoughts. And then they just have to see how the season unfolds if they can stay with it.
Unfolding so far so good for him. And that'll carry over the back line of the end zone for a touchback. And now out on the field, here comes Los Angeles. Certainly want to avoid what they had to do last possession. That was punt the football, because this game's starting to tighten up.
In a basketball sense, you'd think about taking a little bit of the air out of the ball, right? Maybe milk some clock, limit the possessions. In this case, they might want to do the same thing, but control the game offensively. Put together some first downs, put together a drive, and keep it away from them.
An incomplete pass leads to 2nd and 10 from the 25. Gone. Open man, Higbee, the tight end. And he gets this one just shy of the 40, down at the 39. First down, Los Angeles there with a pickup of 14 yards. Goff now 11 of 17 passing thus far. He's got his guys a 1st and 10. Now a fake on the give here as they try the run-pass option. Brandon Cooks, the receiver he was going after. And that'll bring up 2nd down.
I know coaches tell us all the time that having a powerful arm isn't the #1 thing they look for in a quarterback. But when you're trying to throw inside routes and you need to put some heat on it, it helps have the big gun. In this case, just a little bit too much.
That one a gain of 20 and a first down.
Well, they obviously read man coverage their partner, and he got downfield, broke down the defender, made him
What do you mean by that, Bert?
Yeah, he made him think he was going to run a different route. Probably thought he was going to take it upfield, then he curls back inside for the completion.
He's going to take off with it. Oh, and now he bowls him over, and he's going to get this inside the 30. Opted to run for it. The decision, a good one, picking up the first, getting 14 yards on the scramble.
Now, this play was all about the eyes. As he rolled out to his right, he kept one eye downfield and one eye on what was in front of him, and he ended up picking up some pretty good yardage.
Here's Goff. He gets it to Cooks. Down he goes at the 23, a pickup of 4.
4 yards on the pickup. 2nd and 6 at the Redskins' 23-yard line.
4 yards on that last completion, so that sets up 2nd and 6. Now Goff. He gets it to Gurley, complete. And they'll bring him down at the 13-yard line. 9 yards to pick up there, and it's a first down.
And we see another pitch and catch there to the running back. This position just continues to evolve. They become just as critical to the passing attack as a lot of receivers, tight ends, because their ability to make people miss in the open field can really generate big plays for an offense.
And he'll get into the end zone. Touchdown, Rams. Brandon Cooks, his 2nd touchdown of the afternoon. And the Rams tack on to their advantage. A good, sustained drive there in this 3rd quarter, capping it off with a touchdown to give them a nice 2-score advantage.
It was actually a fun one to watch, wasn't it? I mean, for me, seeing the mix of what they did, how they moved the ball downfield, very sharp, too. Each and every play seemed to be executed with great dispatch.
This one fielded at the 5. Then he'll take this across the 25, couple extra yards up to the 27-yard line. Out comes Washington's offense as they get set to take over here. I guess they have to feel a little gratified to at least get on the board last time, but still work to do.
No doubt about it. I wonder now if they're going to try to increase the urgency a little bit, maybe pump up the pace, maybe go 2 minutes. Who knows? Let's see what they decide to do.
They go play action here on first down. And that's going to be incomplete. Too tough to hold on to that one. It's second down. 2nd and 10 now from the 27. And now whistles and a flag. And I think we got a jump here.
Defense.
So a jump there defensively.
And it's a killer. Watch the football. Don't move across the line of scrimmage until the ball moves.
So the penalty certainly helps them out as they come up on 2nd and 5. Following the penalty, it's Geis. And takes this one across the 35 to the 36, a gain of about 4.
Well, they still have time to get him established, but in my estimation, they've got to pick up the urgency here. They've got to get quickly in and out of the huddle and run off a bunch more plays.
These guys have punted 4 times already, and they're staring at a 5th, barring a conversion here on 3rd down. Well, they hit him in the backfield, and he will not escape, and that is not going to get it done. It'll be a loss of a yard, and that's going to make it 4th down.
But these guys are going to chop into that deficit. They got to do a much better job in the run game. Caught behind the line of scrimmage, no yardage to be found.
And this is going to hit the goal line and continue on into the end zone for a touchback. Here's the Los Angeles offense as they get set to take possession. And that last drive, a long drive, but not just that. They had a great air attack going. Did they stick with that?
I would think that they would, because if they were confident enough to do it on the last drive, starting backed up in their own territory, why would you change anything? They've got to be confident about what they're presenting and continue to do so.
Yeah, because the secondary, they really look clueless.
And that was amazing because that drive went and went, no adjustments, and no big plays by the defense to knock the ball away.
2nd and 10, Goff again. And this one incomplete. Too much contact to hold on to that one, and it's 3rd down.
The beauty of being able to play a zone defense, when you can sit back and see the ball coming out of the quarterback's hands, guess what? Creates a lot of confusion, kind of a muddle in the middle of the field where you go make a play on the football.
Nowhere to escape, and he goes down. Chalk that up as their first sack in this game, and they tallied 4 a week ago.
And probably not as much exultation in that sack as what took us so long. Because when you get 4 the previous week, you're counting on continuing that momentum. They didn't get that done in the first half of the game. Let's see now if they start to bring even more exotic pressure towards the quarterback.
On is the punter, Hecker, as he gets this one away. Now it's Wright.
Illegal block in the back. Return team.
So this will be accepted as it moves the offense backwards. Haskins and the Redskins come up 1st and 10 at the 34.
Hey, you got 3 down. Check 31, check 31.
Shotgun handoff to Thompson. And he'll get 2, maybe 3 up near the 37.
Defenses always talk about earning the right to rush the passer on 3rd down. And you know what offenses want? Win 1st down so they can set things up for themselves better.
And that wasn't helpful there. Not a big impact on 1st down. Now a handoff. Geis going right. And he's got some space here. And they're going to get him behind the line yet again as his nightmare afternoon continues. 19 yards the pick up there. Move the chains.
Running lanes were at a premium in the first half, but he's able to find some room there, and he's hoping that that's a precursor of a big second half.
Strong right. 3 down.
On 1st down, it's Haskins. Looking for McLaurin, and he's got him. And brought down, but not before they're inside the 25. That is now 19-yard gains on back-to-back plays. Haskins now 6 for 6 since coming back out of the locker room. It's 1st and 10. Here's Geis. And an alley to run. And down inside the 15, shy of the 10. Give the Redskins 13 there on a 1st down.
Sometimes it's hard to believe, but there are times this game is about patience, isn't it? Has had the game he expected, but that run there, that may get him going.
I was just going to say, maybe that gives him a little juice, because you're right, he struggled, especially in that 1st half.
Yeah, and I know the great ones always think to themselves, just hang in there. I'm just one big carry away from busting this open. That's a good start for him.
second down now. It's Thompson, and he'll be brought down right on the edge of the goal line at about the 1-yard line. It's an 8-yard pickup, and it leads to a first and goal. Now, they struggled to get him rolling on the ground in the first half, and that's sort of continuing here in the third quarter.
Yeah, but I don't think it's time to abandon the running game. I would say keep feeding the horse, and I believe he'll eventually reward them, especially as we get deeper in the game.
And he'll take this into the end zone. Touchdown, Washington. Darius Geis, his second touchdown on the season, as they are now just an extra point away from making this a 3-point game. Well, this offense only mustered 3 points in the first half on that field goal. They picked up the pace now, 2 third-quarter touchdowns.
Hey, you remember that appearance we had last week in front of that crowd, and they asked about halftime adjustments and all that was going on. And remember what I said, it's not always an adjustment at halftime. Sometimes just remembering the game plan and playing better, tuning it up and just working through it methodically. They got it done in this game.
Of course, I'll always remember that appearance because I had on a brown belt with black shoes, and you pointed that out in front of the crowd. So thanks for that.
I said that out loud?
You did.
Yeah, my bad.
Extra point splits the uprights, and that will shave one more off this lead. So just a 3-point game now as they send this one away. And this will be a touchback as that sails over the end line. The LA offense ready to go for their next drive. And on the last go-around, they really couldn't get anything going.
They had to punt from deep inside their own territory, which means you're going to lose the field position battle as a general rule.
And the pressure will get to him. He goes down. Now, there is a flag on the play, but this looks like holding on the offense. So they will take the sack instead of the penalty.
And it takes another down off the series. But the biggest one of all, do you want to tell the guy who just got the sack that it no longer counts?
No.
No, not at all.
And that is going to do it for this third quarter of action. And that'll do it for the end of the second quarter. This is the NFL, and it's on EA Sports. Protection certainly going to need to be a bit better here on 2nd and 16. Goff now looks to throw. Gets this into the hands of the tight end, Higbee. Stopped at the 24-yard line after a gain of 5.
And, partner, I think that was a great example that not all tight ends are created equal. Because everything was right. Got the completion, but he's not one of the more dynamic guys in the league. So even though he caught it, couldn't turn it into much more.
This is caught. It's Cooks. And down he goes, but he takes it up to the 40. He's been the go-to guy. They needed a big play there on third down. Went his way. It worked out.
Doesn't matter whether they've scouted it or that they think he's going to get the ball. He has a knack for finding his way open and completing the connection.
Goff throwing complete to Cup. And he's going to get this down to the 35-yard line. That one goes for 24 yards.
These guys are running offense like you drive. The pedal is down, stomped down. How about that? Back-to-back completions. They are rolling.
So much for being conservative and running that football. Nowhere to escape, and he goes down. The DN, Jonathan Allen, making sure his presence is felt.
Sometimes I watch games and wonder why they use play fakes on certain passing situations because it's not going to fool anyone. I don't know if that was the case here, but the end result was the same. No one fooled. The quarterback was hit.
To try again after the sack. Goff, his throw incomplete. He was looking for Todd Gurley, and it's third down. The Rams on third down, not quite 50%, 4 for 9. This will be a tough 3rd and 18. Goff now to throw. And Cooks has it over the middle. And this play comes to a halt at the 33, and obviously that's well short of the first down. It's a gain of 11, but they're still well short. It's 4th down.
That's certainly playing down and distance very well by the defense, isn't it? Take whatever you want underneath, by all means.
Zerline's kick is up and through. And that will double their lead as it's up to 6. So they get the 3, but you wonder now, is that going to be enough?
Excellent question, because when I look at the smiles on that side of the field, they're a little tight, aren't they? If they had scored a touchdown there, those would be big half-moon grins right now because they'd feel a whole lot better about their position.
And a touchdown in the other direction, all of a sudden they're down. A look at Washington as they come onto the field. And for them, a touchdown their last go-around. Obviously, they'll be hoping to do that again.
And when you start plotting for this drive, when you start thinking to yourself, okay, what are we going to do? You don't go away from what you did before because that worked. But you have to be prepared for wrinkles and counters because you know they'll make some adjustments.
A pretty big opening there on first down. 8 yards up to the 33.
Face mask. Defense.
Well, when you're leading in the fourth quarter, that's not the penalty you want.
Not at all, and now your discipline comes into question. Having poise this stage of the game, you can't have those kind of plays.
On 1st and 10, it's Haskins. Nowhere to escape, and he goes down. The perennial Pro Bowler Aaron Donald gets the sack.
Brandon, I think you understand the type of afternoon this offensive line is having. It is a long one for them. Long for you to spend it with me. Long for them trying to block those guys. They've given up a whole lot of sacks, and the speed and quickness of that defensive line is eating them alive.
Another try after the first down sack. Haskins. That's complete to his receiver, McLaurin. And he takes this one down almost all the way to the 30. 28 yards the gain there on the catch and run.
That crossing route is so effective when you hit it just right because you get a guy on the move, and then we see the end result there.
It's a nightmare for the defense. They got a guy with a full head of steam.
Not only does he catch it, but he picks up additional yardage after it.
Now it's Haskins. And he will be hit from behind and run over. Wow. Clay Matthews adding another sack to his impressive NFL resume.
This has been a tough one for this offensive line. It appears almost like they've been on roller skates this entire game, the way they've been pushed around. 6 sacks given up in this one.
After the sack on first down, Haskins is going to let this go for the ends. And it'll be intercepted. Picked up by Anthony Harris. And a big turnover there as his guys will get the football back. That, Charles, the first interception he's thrown here in year number 2.
And I know it's just the first one, but didn't it feel like what we saw from him last year, where he was plagued by this type of a play? And they thought that, over the offseason, going into a second season, some of that would go away. Thus far, still looks a lot like his rookie year. Even with a dime look on defense, 2 extra defensive backs on the field and covered up essentially every blade of grass. That allowed them to disrupt the play.
To throw on 2nd and 10. Goff. And that'll be caught by Cup. And he's got it past the 30 before he's hit and dropped. A gain there of 12 yards and a first down L.A. From the 32 now. Here's 1st and 10. Back to the workhorse today. It's Gurley. And I think this defense knew what was coming as he is smothered behind the line. It's a loss of 2 there, bringing up 2nd down.
That play definitely goes down as a win for the defense as they were able to get there and tackle him for a loss. But you just got the sense that the runner kept looking for a space to turn upfield, and it kept getting strung out towards the sidelines before the defense finally finished him off.
He lost 2 there, and it's 3rd down. A couple of plays sent them the wrong way, and now they face a 3rd and 14. Goff now looking to throw. Open man is Higbee, the tight end. And he'll be tackled right on the chalk of the 45. A good pickup, 17 yards, and also a Rams first down. So after 2 first downs, they get another here. 1st and 10 at the 45. Gurley. And he's got it across the midfield stripe and into Washington territory. It's a 6-yard pickup, but it gets him to 2nd and 4. 6 yards on that last play. Here's 2nd and 4. 2nd down, it's Henderson. And he is tackled inside the 40, not quite to the 35. A gain there of 12 yards and a first down L.A. How about this offensive line? They're really starting to establish themselves, take over this game.
And before the series began, I know exactly what we said in the defensive huddle. Guys, we got to get no less than a 3-and-out. Let's get off the field. Instead, they can't find any traction towards doing that. Right now, they're just getting muscled all over the field and getting pushed down it.
Clock continuing to run. They'll probably wind this all the way before snapping it on second down. On the draw, Goff gives to Gurley. Just a yard there, so it brings up a tough 3rd and 12.
I like a guy who understands the situation. I also like a guy who you look at him and you say, that looks like a guy who knows the coach is going to say, guess what? You drop this one, you'll be carrying around the training facility for an entire week.
Maybe flashback to high school or college, carrying it around campus, right?
The old gauntlet drill, right? Anyone get the ball out while he's sitting in class and bring it back to the coach, he's in big trouble.
So it's Rams football here as we get you reset. And let's see what they've come up with offensively after having time to talk it over. Here comes a 20th carry for Gurley. And he'll be brought down, losing yardage back at the 40. And now we'll see a timeout used on defense as they stop it right out of the break with 1:57 to go in the ballgame. So on 4th down, out trots the kicker in a big spot here. This to make it a 2-score game. And that's off the right upright. Thought it might sneak in, but it did not. It's no good. And this score will stay right where it is. So distance not the issue there. He had plenty of leg to get it there. It's that darn upright getting in the way.
Always gets in the way of a good time, doesn't it? Because he hit it square, too. Sometimes you can bank one in if you get it on the end of the football. No such luck there for him.
They go back to the air here after the INT on the last drive. And he can't get a throw off. He's taken down. What a huge play at this point in the game. Offensively, they're going to have to figure this out before next week. 7 sacks in one game.
Yeah, and that's more than any quarterback should have to bear. And if this continues on, there will be another quarterback in the game because no one can stand up to this week after week.
Here's a throw right side, taken in by his tight end. A good pickup there, 13 yards as they get closer for 3rd down. They'll get to the line here, but remember, it's also 3rd down. Throwing now is Haskins to Thompson on the screen. And he'll go out of bounds after taking it a little further down inside the 40. 8 yards on the pickup there, and it moves the sticks. That's what they need right now. Get the first down, get out of bounds, stop the clock.
Just playing smart football, understanding the situation, making the plays necessary, and making sure that clock stops at every opportunity.
They'll look to throw, and he can't quite bring it in. Might have heard footsteps there across the middle. 2nd down. They work again from the 38 on 2nd and 10. He's back to throw. And that'll be incomplete. Took a pretty good shot as he tried to pull that one in. Couldn't hang on 3rd down. Big play coming up. Here's 3rd and 10.
I would expect to see some pressure here.
The pressure drops off as they'll look to throw. And he can't get a throw away. He's taken down. Now Washington going to use the 2nd of their 3 timeouts as they stop it here with just under 40 seconds to go in the game. So down 6, and they know they need this one on 4th down.
24 is the mark. Come to my work. We want.
They're going on 4th down. Haskins. Past the 20. Open man is Sims. He's got it. They keep the game alive, at least for the moment, as it's a 1st down. Tell you what, he's been able to put the ball in some tight spots all game long. That throw, no different.
Yeah, a lot of people would call it a gutsy type of a throw. I think he looks at it as, I can do it, so it's not that big of a deal to me, and I'm going to keep firing.
I got 15. Me.
He'll look to throw. And it's caught. And he couldn't quite get there. Tackled down at the 1. And a timeout coming in. This will be their final one with 10 seconds remaining. They come up on a 1st and goal and most likely 4-down territory as they need a touchdown and a PAT for the lead. Back to throw. Back in the end zone. Could he get his feet down? No, it's incomplete. Another shot from the 1 on 2nd and goal. One final shot for Haskins. That is caught. Touchdown, and no time remains. And they're an extra point away from winning this football game.
Break out the oxygen tanks, partner. The air just left this place. This crowd was in a frenzy. They thought they were going to win. Now they're just an extra point away from leaving here with a really disappointing loss.
The Rams going to go ahead and use the first of their timeouts. And as the two teams talk it over on their respective sidelines, we take a break. No time on the clock. This to claim victory. And he has got it. And to borrow a baseball expression, they're going to walk off a winner. Well, this was a game we'll have in the memory banks for a while. The winning touchdown at the end, and then they had to get that extra point. You know, the knees were shaking, but he put it through, and boom, a dramatic victory.
And just remember, prior to 2015, that extra point almost felt routine, didn't it? Like it was a fait accompli. But when we moved it back to the 15, now the drama kicked in. So, yes, a touchdown, extremely important. Obviously, they had to have it. That was huge. But that was not a gimme, and he knocked it through the post.
So for the Redskins, they did what they needed to do. They split their first 2 road games of the year, and they will head back home next week. Meanwhile, for L.A., they will fall to 1-1, and they'll get a chance to redeem themselves at home next week. That'll do it for us. I'm Brandon Gaudin alongside Charles Davis. Thanks to our entire crew as well. We'll talk to you next time. So long, everybody.